What if the biggest opponent on a tennis court isn't standing across the net, but inside your own head? Because right now, that's exactly what's happening to Paula Badosa, and honestly, it's one of the most real, raw, and uncomfortable stories we've seen in tennis this year. And here's why you need to stay till the end of this video. Because this isn't just about a losing streak. This is about a former world number 2, a Grand Slam semifinalist, a player who had everything now openly admitting that her own mind is working against her. And what she revealed, it changes how we look at her entire 2026 season. Right now, on paper, things look rough. Really rough. A 7-8 win-loss record, out of the top 100. Currently sitting at world number 112. And her latest setback? A second-round exit at the Miami Open. Losing to Ivanovic, a match where, if you just looked at rankings, Badosa should have had control. But rankings don't tell the full story. Not even close. Because what's happening here isn't about tennis ability. It's something much deeper. And for the first time, Badosa actually said it out loud. She admitted that the real battle she's fighting right now isn't physical. It's mental. Think about that for a second. This is a player who has already dealt with injuries. Serious ones. Back problems that have haunted her career. Long layoffs. Comebacks. Pain. So naturally, everyone assumed that if she was struggling again, it must be the body. But no. According to Badosa herself, the real issue is something you can't see on a medical report. It's fear. It's doubt. It's that voice in your head that doesn't go away. She literally described it as a constant internal fight. On one side, the competitor. The version of her that reached world number 2, that made a Grand Slam semifinal, that believed she could beat anyone. And on the other side, a voice asking questions like, what if I never get back to that level? What if I get injured again? What if I fail? And here's the scary part. She says those thoughts aren't just happening off the court. They're happening during matches. Let that sink in. Mid-rally. Mid-point. In the middle of competition, at the highest level, your brain starts pulling you away from the moment. That's not just pressure. That's paralysis. And if you ever played any sport, even at an amateur level, you know exactly how dangerous that is. Because tennis, more than almost any sport, is brutally mental. There's no clock to run down, no teammates to hide behind, no constant action to distract you. It's just you, your opponent, and your thoughts. And right now, Badosa is losing that internal match more often than she's winning it. She even admitted it directly. The negative voice is winning. That line alone tells you everything about where she is mentally. And honestly, this is where things get really interesting. Because when a player is physically injured, the path is clear. You rehab, you recover, you return. But when it's mental, there's no timeline, no guaranteed fix, no certainty. And that's exactly why the situation feels so complicated. Just like she said. Now, here's where I want to bring you into the conversation. Do you think mental struggles like this are harder to come back from than physical injuries? I want you to really think about that and drop your answer in the comments. Because this is something we're seeing more and more in tennis. And Badosa might be the most honest example yet. Now, let's rewind for a second. Because to understand how shocking this is, you have to remember who Paula Badosa was not that long ago. We're talking about a player who climbed all the way to world number 2. That doesn't happen by accident. That's not luck. That's dominance. Consistency. Confidence. She wasn't just winning matches. She was imposing herself on opponents. Heavy ground strokes. Controlled aggression. Mental toughness. And then came one of the biggest moments of her career. A run to the semifinals of the Australian Open 2025. That was supposed to be the launch pad. The moment where she transitioned from top player to potential Grand Slam champion. Everything was pointing upward. Until suddenly it wasn't. The injuries came back into the picture. The rhythm disappeared. And slowly, almost quietly, the losses started stacking up. Early exits. Tight matches slipping away, confidence fading, and now in 2026, we're looking at a completely different version of the same player. Not less talented, not less capable, but mentally fragile. And I don't say that as criticism. I say that because she said it herself. And honestly, It takes serious courage to admit something like that publicly. Most players would hide behind excuses. Blame scheduling. Blame conditions. Blame fitness. But Badosa didn't do that. She said the problem is inside her own head, and that level of honesty, it's rare. But it also raises a huge question. Can she fix it? Because here's the thing about tennis history. Comebacks are possible. We've seen players fall out of the top rankings and climb all the way back. We've seen injuries, slumps, even confidence crises get turned around. But mental battles? They don't always follow the same script. Sometimes they linger. Sometimes they evolve. And sometimes they redefine a career. Now, before this gets too heavy, let's talk about the opportunity right in front of her. Because believe it or not, this might actually be the turning point. She's heading into the Charleston Open. And the field? It's weaker than expected. Players like Amanda Anisimova and Emma Navarro have pulled out. There's only one top 10 player in the draw, which means for someone like Badosa, this is more than just another tournament. This is a chance. A real chance. Not just to win matches, but to rebuild belief. Because sometimes confidence doesn't come from big victories. It comes from stacking small wins. First round, then second round, then suddenly you're in a quarterfinal. And everything starts to feel possible again. Her first opponent? Kayla Day, ranked outside the top 150. On paper, this is exactly the kind of match Badosa needs. But here's the twist. Matches like this can actually be the most dangerous when you're struggling mentally. Because now there's expectation, pressure to win, pressure to prove that you're back. And if that negative voice is still there, it can turn even a favorable matchup into a mental trap. So the question isn't just, can she win? It's, can she silence the noise? Because if she can do that, even for one match, it could change everything. Now let's zoom out for a second, because Badosa's situation isn't just about her. It's part of a bigger conversation happening in tennis right now. We're seeing more players open up about mental struggles, more honesty, more vulnerability, and that's changing how we understand the sport. For years, the narrative was simple. If you're not winning, something is wrong with your game. But now we know, sometimes, everything is technically fine. And the real battle is happening where no one can see it, inside the mind. And that's what makes Badosa's story so compelling. Because it's not polished. It's not perfect. It's real. She's not pretending to have answers. She's not saying, I've figured it out. She's saying, I'm fighting. Every day. With her team. With specialists. But ultimately, with herself. And that last part is important. Because no coach, no physio, no analyst can step onto court and control your thoughts for you. That's something every athlete has to face alone. Now here's where I'm going to make a prediction. And I want you to remember this. If Paula Badosa finds a way to win this mental battle, she's going to be dangerous again. Maybe not immediately. Maybe not overnight. But the talent doesn't disappear. The experience doesn't vanish. And once the mind aligns with the game again, that's when things get scary for the rest of the tour. But if she doesn't, if that negative voice keeps winning, then we might be looking at a very different trajectory. One where a former world number 2 struggles to even stay inside the top 100. And that's the harsh reality of professional tennis. The margins are brutal. The competition is relentless. And the mental side? It's everything. So now I want to bring it back to you one more time. Do you believe Paula Badosa can return to the top 10? Or do you think this mental battle might hold her back long term? Be honest. No safe answers. Drop your thoughts in the comments because I'm really curious where you stand on this. Because this isn't just about predictions. It's about understanding what it actually takes to compete at the highest level and whether belief once shaken can truly be rebuilt. One thing is certain though, this story is far from over. In fact, it feels like we're right in the middle of it. And Charleston, that might just be the next chapter. A chapter where everything can start to change, or where the struggle continues. Either way, all eyes should be on Paula Badosa. Because sometimes the most important matches aren't the ones played on the scoreboard. They're the ones fought in silence. And right now, that's exactly where her career stands. If you felt this story If you understand the mental side of the game, then you're already part of what makes Tennis IQ different. This isn't just about scores. It's about stories. Stick with Tennis IQ for real tennis insight, real emotion, and the moments that actually matter.